Welcome to the Cutmaker Podcast, your home for all of your golf bets and DFS plays, Scottish Open Edition. This week, we talk with our friend Ben Rasa of Stochastic. Ben is a terrific guy, great bettor, been in the golf betting and DFS streets for a long time, great sports handicapper, horse handicapper. We caught him just before he takes his vacation to Saratoga. So we talk all things across the board this week. Really interesting card, really interesting tournament. A lot of folks are into play because driver is almost irrelevant here. So enjoy the show and make sure you follow me at Cutmaker Pod. Excuse me, for the pod at Cutmaker Pod. Follow me at Cutmaker Jeff and join our Telegram channel at Cutmaker Pod. Their link is there and get all the plays we make throughout the week and enjoy the show. We're talking Scottish Open this week, and so I'm running some like models, like obviously you have, like everybody on earth has, but so weirdly enough, Eric Cole pops high again. Is he popping at all for you, or is this like, am I out of left field?
No, man. So one of the things, particularly this week, is when we get over here, it's like you got this bucket of guys that they've made like a pretty quick ascension on the tour, but can they handle this type of golf? Like, does Eric Cole play links golf? I have no idea.
Right. Yeah.
Irons, like some of the pretty, I'd say standard stats that travel. Guy like that, he pops up. I totally get it. I haven't bet him outright, but I did a show on Monday and we were talking about him, so I get it. I just don't know if he'll like these type of layouts.
Well, but putting travels, right? Like, yeah, he's a good putter. He's a real good putter, and it's interesting. So I was shocked to see him. Obviously he's never played here. His form's good. A guy who I think is really popular. I'll keep going here. I'll go down. I just jumped into Eric Cole. I'm going to go down in like DK pricing order / odds. And I love your world renowned for your like guys off the radar guys. We'll talk about a few of those here, because one of them I was like, this guy's fucking crazy. And then I looked him up and I'm like, bro, you might be onto something here. So I want to talk about that. So why is Scotty Scheffler top 5 a bad bet this week?
Is it ever a bad bet? I mean, you're the man who taught me just put him with all parlays and then count your money, him and Brooks.
Yes.
I mean, like now he's starting to tick into positive strokes gained putting. Forget it. Another one where, like, again, do I think that really funky conditions can kind of level the playing field? I definitely do, but these are just like not real numbers. It's just like, oh, plus 12.5 every week tee to green with 8 on the irons. It's ridiculous. And I mean, you're getting what, 150 2-to-1-ish range? I mean, for a top 5.
Yeah, it's like you parlay again, just like you said, you parlay Scotty top 5 here with Brooks to win the Open Championship, and you count your money.
Here we go.
Brooks becomes 20-1 all of a sudden, or whatever the case may be, right? So like, I don't hate that, but I think of equal interest is probably Rory top 10 here, right? Like that feels super safe. As a matter of fact, you could potentially probably parlay those two. And I don't know. It's probably let's figure it out. I'll do that here in a second as we're talking. But Xander won last year. Are you going to play any Xander? Is anybody going to play any Xander? Like, let's talk about DFS for a second. Like, I don't know that or betting. No one's going to bet on Xander, or certainly no one's going to bet on Cantlay, or play Cantlay in DFS. Not at 10-4, not at 10-2. Where are you at on those two guys?
Yeah, it is tricky because I do agree. It feels like for both DFS and betting, heard a lot of people rightfully say, you know what, just give me, Rory or Scheffler as my kind of go-to, or I'm going to drop and maybe look to a balanced look. Let me get to Fitzy. Let me get to Hatton. Let me get to Hovland. So it is tricky, particularly with Cantlay, who he feels overpriced. Obviously, the quote-unquote floor, the wins haven't been there, but the guy is churning out very, very good finishes.
Yeah.
And he checks all the boxes. I think I have him ahead of Xander. Xander's the guy that probably gets squeezed for me.
Okay.
And I have a feeling I'm not going to be alone in that mindset.
Yeah, no, I agree. But which I think makes him a terrific DFS play, right?
Yeah, I get it.
He's going to be super single. He like single digit ownership. Obviously could win one last year. I think Xander's interesting in DFS. Not a guy I'm going to bet, but I think a really good tournament DFS play. Man, what a world though. Like if I would have told you, well, I mean, I looked at this for the Open, same thing. Like if I'd have told you that Ricky Fowler was going to be lower odds in the Open than Victor Hovland, Patrick Cantlay, Tyrrell Hatton, you'd have told me I was crazy, and I'd have told myself I was crazy. But here we are. So Ricky Fowler, right, finally gets the dub, 13th, 5th, 9th, 6th, 6th here back in 2018. 20-1, I think is the best number you can get. Is going to pop high in every single person's model. Any mouth breather with a clip, keyboard is going to pick, Ricky. But it's like, but then again, it's like, is the narrative street, well, he can't win back to back, blah, 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 blah. I actually think that's going to keep his numbers down a little bit in DFS. Or are people going to play Ricky and not play Vic, Hatton, Fleetwood? What do you think?
That's a tricky thing. I think there is something to people build up, and I'm guilty of this. He's so close, and then he wins, and everyone's like, "Oh, right. All right, he won. It's over. Here, let's go to a new guy. Like, that's fine. Let's go to Fleetwood." And it's like, should he be penalized that he actually won? If Ricky would have come in second, he would be double as popular this week. And it's so crazy. To think
and he almost did come in second. He screwed up.
Another couple inches. Morikawa spins back, and we're not talking about this. I get it. It's just so quick how these things. And I'm not saying that a guy like JT isn't struggling. He is, but it's just incredible how fast you can see these ebbs and flows for these guys. Because I mean, JT's sitting perpetually 45, 50-1 in these fields now, and that's a far cry from that's where Ricky used to be, and JT used to be 18-1.
Well, and so side note, Rory top 10, Koepka parlay to Koepka to win the Open, 35-1.
There you go. Easy game.
Well, I mean, it's funny you mentioned Fowler and he was in you mentioned JT. They were in Wimbledon together with their wives and so on.
Yep.
Forgotten man here who finished 10th, 2022 is Jordan Spieth. 0 people are going to play Jordan Spieth in DFS. Nobody's going to bet him for good reason. He's, I think, a super interesting DFS play because he could win this, especially if it becomes a putting contest, which is likely going to be highly relevant here this week. But you mentioned guys like JT who just kind of fallen off price wise. Remember the golfer formerly known as Sanjay M?
It's on my card.
66-1. 66. I mean, he has to be on your card just on that price alone. I mean, 24th, 29th, showing some signs of form. Well, listen, that was the reason I played Sepp Straka last week. I played Sepp Straka at 55-1 because I'm like, who the fuck are these clowns to be given? Sepp Straka is maybe, arguably, the best player in this field, and he's 55-1. I mean, that's not a crazy thing. The thing poll I posted on Twitter, of everybody in this field, who's most likely to make a Ryder Cup team? People made cases for Denny Mac. No, that's bullshit. Sepp Straka is the most likely player in that John Deere field to make it. He just is, period.
So my only gripe about Sanjay is a personal one. I took a bad number. I jumped on him immediately, and he drifted. He's up in the mid 60s now, but
66-1 is the best number. Yeah.
I know it hasn't been good, but he's starting to build it back. 29th, 24th. I think this is a good course for him. He's really had no success on link style layouts, but I don't think that should be the case. And I don't really care what he's done. I care about what I think conceptually his gain. He gained strokes across the board. Obviously, we know like Honda-esque layouts. I think Sanjay, you mentioned the forgotten man, he's going to get it back sooner rather than later.
Here's the would you rather, Sanjay or Sam Burns?
Sanjay.
Really? See, I would
Yeah.
disagree with you there. I would take Sam Burns.
Yeah,
Um,
I can't get Burns right.
yeah,
His
that's I hear you there. Well, and it's funny. If we would be talking in January and I said we're going to be sitting here in July and Minwoo Lee is going to be half the price of Sun J.M., you
Yeah,
would
I
say,
know.
Jeff, you're fucking high. I'll take that bet for all the money on the internet. There's no way. Like, that's impossible. Or if I would have said, hey,
Ludwig Aberg.
Justin Rose is going to be lower odds than Sun J.M., Sam Burns, Tom Kim, and Justin Thomas, you told me I'm crazy. I think Justin Rose is not a bad bet this week. What do you think?
Yeah, Justin Rose is someone I think I have more interest in the betting markets than I do. Not that I hate him as a DFS play, but I just think the number is pretty enticing with him. Obviously, the guy knows what he's doing. We could get, I mean, it's Scotland. Like, we could get crazy variance weather. I think that's good. I think the more weird things that happen, the better guys who have seen everything 10 times over. A guy like Rose, he knows how to hold it together. He knows how to get up and down for bogey. It's going to happen at times. I like Rose as an outright bet this week.
Yeah, and I think he's terrific top 10 play. I mean, you're going to find him, I don't know, 5-1 or so top 10. I mean, ish. Probably 4-1 or so. I have to look at the markets. But as I scroll down here, Aberg has been one of the hottest names everybody's talking about every week now. Obviously, 4th last week at the track meet of the John Deere, 40th at Rocket Mortgage, 24th at Travelers, 25th in Canada. Guys went on a hell of a heater. But, dude, like, he's priced comparably to Justin Rose. I mean, head-to-head, you get -110 head-to-head. Who you playing, Justin Rose or Aberg?
I would be Rose for me.
Yeah.
I like Aberg. I think he's got all the talent.
I do too. But it's like it's getting to the point where it's a little bit aggressive. I mean, I get it. I mean, he's priced lower than Adams. I take Adam Scott in a head-to-head, honestly.
Yeah, so would I.
And that's and there he's priced lower than Adam Scott. I take Sam Burns in a head-to-head. I'm just going down the list. I would take my boy Alex Smalley in a head-to-head. There's a guy who, boy, oh boy, what do we do with him?
Not hit outrights. I've had him on the card recently. It's been close. I get it. Him and Connor's right there in the mid-range of DFS, and even in the mid-range, kind of in the outright market. Smalley's, I mean, his irons are all out of control right now. He is striping it. He can sync up the putter just a little bit more. I worry, like a lot of guys, if it gets crazy difficult. I think he's more apt to win at like 18 under than 6 under. Yeah. Depending on the conditions, but Smalley's he's a player. He's a real player. I'm a big fan of his game, actually.
Aaron Rice won here in the past. He's in this range. Coming off at 9th at Rocket Mortgage, 3rd in Canada, 12th at Charles Schwab. I mean, he's got good form. He's a guy that's worth looking at. But tell me why Brian Harman is going to win this week.
Oh, boy. Brian Harman.
So 125-1. I mean,
it's playing better than I.
Coming in on a freaking heater, 9th and a 2nd. Brian Harman coming in, guns blazing. I mean, what do we do here?
It's kind of interesting because Brian Harman's the type of guy. I think step one, not that he gets boxed out, but is he going to get just lapped by distance? Clearly, the answer here is no at this course. Like he's not going to be at a massive disadvantage. And if he holds it together off the tee with accuracy, I mean, we know how hot he can get with the putter. We've seen it. I mean, it's been all irons and all putting. And that's kind of a formula that from Minwoo to Rye, Xander's a little different. Like, you can thrive with that here. It's a fascinating range because like Ryan Fox is in this range. Rasmus is in this range. A lot of different types of players in the same basket.
You haven't mentioned the guy who grades 2nd in my model here behind Cole Thigala.
This guy, he's another one. Is he ever going to win?
But God, yes. I mean, he's 85-1 too. Like, that's worth a bullet. I mean, but to your point, like, you go from, God, you mentioned Fox, and we'll talk about another guy here in a second. From 7,500 to 8,500, you could make this your whole lineup.
Yep.
You could literally just do 150 lineups of combinations in this range and probably ship something relevant, right? Like this is if you go from Austin Eckroat to Justin Rose and just combo these things, you can ship something. I mean, I'm really interested in Harmon, really interested in Gala. Rye was worth a conversation. Dude, like Lucas Herbert, he has freaking 2 top 5s here. Another guy, 15th, the Travelers, highly relevant. God, my favorite Pat Mayo nickname, the Gim Reaper, is in elite form. I mean, really good form. 16th year last year. You mentioned Ryan Fox. I mean, has a 6th year solid form. But dude, Thomas Dietrich, he's 8-1, top 10 at BetMGM, ties payful. I'm in. 8-1, top 10, Thomas Dietrich. Sign me up. Talk me off that.
No, I mean, so I always find it interesting with guys like that and we don't know. You really don't know, but like, what would we be saying about Dietrich if he never came over and he was just playing in Denmark last week and doing that and coming in third? A lot of interest probably. And, he's on a little snag here. His irons went away at these birdie fests where if you start slow, forget it. And now he gets back home. I mean, I know it's not in Belgium, but I like kind of the crossover. And then I know Noren's a popular play this week, but I like the guys that are Euro guys. They come to the tour and now they get to go back. And it's almost like a pseudo home game with some of those skills, but they've been playing pretty good competition over here. So Dietrich, Ryan Fox has got some of that. I like that angle with some of these lower 7KS guys.
So I probably live in my own echo chamber, so I don't know of anything about people liking Alex Noren this week.
Well, maybe that's just me because I like him every week.
Well, yeah, you do like him every week. That is true. Griot and Alex Noren are like the most common guys on your card. 9th at Rocket Mortgage, obviously good for them. They're 90. What a fucking price. I mean, probably like a phenomenal top 10 play. I'm guessing he's probably 7-1 or something, top 10. Probably 3-1, 4-1, top 20. Talk me through Noren here and your thought process.
Yeah, I do really like the setup. I mean, he's the type of guy. Obviously, we know the formula, and it's starting to develop. And that's why I like weeks like this. There's a blueprint, not what you have to have, but what Brian Harmon. What are they doing? Irons and putting. They sync it up really, really effective. What did Noren do to hit the top 10? It was all irons. It was all putting. And we've seen obviously his best work. It's been a while, but in Europe, that's really where he was flirting with the top 10. Say what you want about the official world golf rankings back in the day, but he was a legitimate player for quite a while. So you're hanging almost triple digits. You mentioned you're talking 6.5, 7-1 to hit the first page of the board. Like Noren can get in the mix. He's got reps at the Renaissance Club. I like him a lot this week.
So what about you mentioned your boy Juice Luton.
Yeah, the Juice Man.
And I mean his form is good. I mean, I would argue Corn Ferry's better than the European Tour now. So you got to take that for I almost look at it like almost like playing college, right? Like, okay, he's having good success there, but 19th here in the past, he's, in decent form coming in 400-1, top 20 plus 450. The top 20 plus 450, super interesting. Talk me through him a little bit.
Yeah, so I think there are certain guys that realistically there are prerequisites to when they can thrive and when they can compete. And a guy like Juice, sometimes he gets into the US Open or he gets into these courses. We see him play once and he shoots like 13 over and you're like, this guy sucks. And it's not the right setup for him. He has to be in ideal setups. He's super accurate off the tee. He knows what he's doing ball striking wise, 2 straight top 10s. And this is the type of course for him. We've seen it in the past with him. I just don't think the books are reflecting the depth of the field. There's a lot of random guys in here. And yeah, winning the tournament, that might be a stretch, but can he get in the mix? I mean, you're talking, 22.5% break evens on these? Like, come on. I think he hits that board better than that type of clip.
So, gun to your head, I know I love this other guy too, and they're really the same range. You like him over Potty Harrington? Because he's another terrific play this week.
Yeah, so that's where I really think I'm gonna try to infer or even plan with different lineups of how difficult it's. I think the harder it plays, the more it tilts to Harrington.
Yeah.
Like I want ball. If it's target practice, give me Luton and I'll live with the results. But if it's you got to be an artist, Justin Rose type. I mean, there's almost no one better than Patty in that stuff.
Yeah. No, I think you hit the nail on the head. And you do this as well as anybody, right? Is building lineups to different scenarios, right?
Yeah,
You build 120 lineup, you build 150 lineups, and 10 of them are it's going to be 2 over.
exactly.
You're going to win, and here's your guys, and you're going to ship. You're going to. Too bad Patrick Reed's not playing in this. You could throw him in there and ship there. But yeah, no, that's a great point, and I think a lot of people don't think that way. But if you're right, if it's going to be target practice, Luton's definitely the play. Another guy kind of in this range up a little bit, I kind of skipped over him, who's been playing phenomenally, is Ekgoat. And he's, again, 250 to 1. I mean, some of these prices on guys who are in really good form. And again, I know it's like maybe it doesn't translate, but I'm willing to take some top 20 bullets on some of these guys at really good prices, 5 to 1, 4 to 1 on a guy like Austin Eckroat who's in fantastic form. I had Eric Barnes on the other day, and he was telling me, we talked about putting, and I just had him on here, and now I was looking. Here you go. I'm sorry, it's way down here. Forgive me. I'm hopping around here on us, but he said he thinks Taylor Montgomery's the best putter on tour. From a current PGA Tour player telling me he thinks Taylor Montgomery's the best putter on tour. And again, but you said you got to have irons and putting, right? If he can get his irons dialed in, gosh, I mean, he's had some top 50s or so, but man, 6,800, he's going to be 0.1% owned. I played, you probably missed, there's no way you saw this, but I played 100%, and I played 100%, and I played cash Jim Herman in round 2 last week in John Deere, the Herminator. He was 0.35% owned, and I played him in the 4-mans. I shipped everything. I think I may play some Taylor Montgomery lineups because he's going to be 0 owned. How about Long-esque? Romain Long? Yeah, I mean, he's interesting.
These are the type of guys, yeah, I think there's
no one's ever heard of him. Nobody who's playing DFS even knows who this guy is. And he is low-key good.
Oh, he's definitely good. He can play. I mean, he even made the cut to the US Open. He's got some skills. And just to get back to that point, because it's true. It's will it translate? But even if you just look at the leaderboard from last year, yeah, there's plenty of guys who are going to come over. Not going to play well, and then you're going to look and Doug Gim and Brandon Wu and Tom or it will click and they all hit the first page. So it is not to say some of these guys like Eckroat and these first timers, they're going to be able to handle this and they might actually like this type of style. So I'm going to kind of treat it at face value and look to some of these guys. Montgomery, it's tough because you can't survive if you lose 3 or 4 strokes on the approach like that, but if he can hold it together, when he first got on tour, it was ridiculous. I mean, he was gaining 0 strokes on the approach. He was coming in 3rd because he gains 8 strokes putting every week.
Yeah. You mentioned a guy too, again, who's obviously on tour, but I'm looking at his track record here. Played here well as Bezuidenhout. And he seems to be a guy who people play every frequent week. I never play him. I'm not a Bezuidenhout guy. I never play him at all. He always seems to be more popular than he should be. But I mean, maybe this is a Bez week, but I mean, 7,200 too feels cheap. I don't know. What do you do? But again, honestly, I look at him and I look at Victor Perez. There's no way I'm playing him over Victor Perez. Give me Victor Perez every day against Bezuidenhout.
There's a lot of pivots in this range, rightfully so. Best thing I could say about Bez is off what Bango was talking about before. He's another guy that he really did some serious damage in Europe. came to the tour and has been playing. And now he gets to go back. He's struggling a little bit, maybe getting not that, again, he's South African, but he's got experience in these events. I look at the range. You mentioned Perez, Luton is there, Noren is there, Bjork is there. There's a lot of names that I think are going to be probably clicks before I get to some Bez, even though I always manage to click in a little Bez just to cause myself some tilt.
You didn't mention Jordan L. Smith.
Yeah, that guy too. That guy's just there. He just does things.
Well, he randomly shot. It was 24th here last year. I mean, you talk about random. You talk about a random guy on the leaderboard. I mean, 20th a few weeks ago, 24. I mean, that's super random. We moved down the board a little bit. I mentioned Long Ask. I mean, the ultimate quasi sucks on the PGA Tour Elite Euro. Matt Wallace will probably get some ownership just because he's got some brand recognition and he's played well here.
When you get to the bottom of the range, I truly think, particularly in DFS, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, oh, I've heard of that guy. That guy plays on tour. I'm clicking him. And I'm not saying that that's a terrible strategy, but I do think you want to dig into some of these guys down here because they know what they're doing. And they, to win the tournament's a stretch, but to come in 23rd or 18th is not a stretch for. I'm not going to ruin the because we're having a good time here. I'm not going to ruin it by saying Max Kiefer, but there are players like that can do some things in these fields that we got to try to identify.
Players like Matthew Southgate.
Matthew Southgate is a real play, unlike Max Kiefer. Matthew Southgate, that guy.
Well, I know, and again, I'm teeing you up here, seeing some of your guys you like, and I was never even contemplating Matthew Southgate. And now I'm looking at his tournament history here is really good. I'm pulling up his current form, and I bet it's going to be solid given what you've already said about him. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, just 10th last week in the Himmerland deal, a couple of missed cuts, but then 12th, 4th. Yeah, I mean, he's had a solid year.
6.5 to 1 for a top 20. The guy, and you look at these results too, and I get it, it's Europe. He's had a double bogey or worse in almost every event. It's not for lack of scoring. It's just clean up a couple things, lean on your ball striking. I'm not, again, these guys, but I just couldn't believe for a top 20, you're talking over 6 to 1 on a guy that's playing good golf and absolutely can hang in these fields.
I'm trying to look up here. Bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to look up Southgate top 40 on BetMGM so I can get my ties paid. So let's see. Ben, you probably see this. The tilt that the people send me every week of how did I lose money? Oh my God, how did I lose money? I had Scotty Scheffler top 5. Yeah, he was in a 9-way tie for 5th, but I bet him and I lost money. And I mean, it's incredible. I mentioned every week. Here you go. Matthew Southgate, 2 to 1 top 40. I'm in. I'm in. I am in. I'm in. I'm in. I love it.
I'm in as well. Yeah. There's some names like that even as a wheel, you're talking small units, but I'm gonna probably buy him down to top 10 and roll the dice a little bit.
I love it. God, I mean, you mentioned some of these prices, some of these guys. I talked to Eric Cole earlier. Eric Cole's 9 to 1 top 10.
Yeah,
that's an elite. Look at again, especially you get ties pay full. How are you not going to take a shot on that? God, I got to look up Gim too because I'm just jumping around here a little bit. But goddamn, I mean, Gim, the price has got to be. I mean, what is Gim going to be? Gim's probably what was the outright market? Probably like 670, 80. Let's see where Gim is. Goddamn, no, Gim can't be lower than.
No, he's like 200 to 1.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Okay.
Yeah. Which
here we go. So he's plus 150. He's 9 to 1 top. He's 9 to 1 top 10, and he's plus 350 top 20. I completely in on that. That's another great play. I mean, God, yeah. I mean, there's so many of these good plays.
And that's the beauty of those type of markets because, like, I love Ben outrights, of course, and I get him on the card. But realistically, there's going to be weeks where Scheffler just says, I'm ready to go, and everything is cooked. But you can still really hit some things, top 10s, top 20s, top 40s even. Like, I love that about golf betting because, okay, big name wins the tournament. Still got a lot to play for here.
Ben, that was the best part, dude, this week about Straka. Is I had a 55-1 Straka and he was down early, but I was like, guys, like so I had him 4-1 top 10. I mean, it's like, of course, like it's insane. And there's going to be some of that, like, God, imagine, because you know what's going to happen. Like Rory is going to shoot like 75 the first day here or something, and then shoot like 69, 65, 60 the last 3 days and finish T5.
Like he always does.
He always does, exactly. And that's and the prices are going to be insane. That's again the beauty of the live betting on this. But no, I mean, I think we've mentioned a lot of guys who I think are really interesting. God, nobody's going to play Eric Cole. No. I mean, absolutely nobody's going to play Eric Cole. I'm going to play him. God, dude, like, and here's a random who's probably going to win someone $1 million is like, or whatever, the big Seamus Power. Someone's going to play Seamus Power at 1%. Seamus Power is going to finish T5, and they're going to play him with Scotty Scheffler and I don't know, pick another random name, Tommy Fleetwood, and ship it.
Seamus, I mean, been kind of waiting, and you saw it last week. He finally flipped the irons. It's a good player. Putter was there. And he's almost, I actually kind of like, he's a little more expensive than most of these guys. And I think that's even better because if you get cut and you're 7,100 or 7,500, you're screwed either way.
Yeah.
But if you don't get cut and you have upside, you're probably going to be less likely to be with a lot of other people on Seamus. Because if he was in the upper sixes, people would be saying, pay down option. But no one's playing him in the mid sevens.
Well, it's like Kitayama.
Yeah.
3 straight missed cuts, yet he took second here last year. I mean, that's going to be highly. I mean, there's so many good. Andrew Putnam's relevant here. I mean,
it's a deep field.
My God, I mean, and just the number of ways you can go. But yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm looking at the winners, and I don't know. Hang on. So, I can't believe Minwoo Lee actually won this freaking event.
Yeah, me neither. But
I mean, the winners here are Xander Schauffele, Minwoo Lee, and Aaron Rai are the last 3 winners of this event. That's kind of crazy to think about.
It's a mixed bag, but I like that because it tells me that my card can have like Ryan Fox and Brian Harman on it and feel okay. Like it's not.
Is Brian Harman on your card?
No, but he might be. Okay. I really overlooked. He's playing a lot better than I thought.
Yeah.
He put me on his. I'm gonna have to take a look at him after this because he's.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bet Brian Harman. There's no question, especially in the placement markets. Yeah, no, I mean he's gonna be live. All right. So you've given some YOLOs that you like, but let's do this. Give me one guy. We'll go 40-1 or higher. That's going to win this week.
I'm going to go with another guy. I never get right. I'm going to go with Ty Hatton. I like Ty Hatton. I think that
18-1.
I know it's not the best number. It's come down
40-1 or higher.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want a bomb? I'm thinking.
41 higher. Yeah.
I'm saying like, okay, wait, that sounds good.
No, that makes way too much sense.
Okay,
it's got to be 40-1 or higher.
Let's get a little dangerous. All right, I like this. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna steal your guy. Rose is right there, and I look at the way that he plays, and when the putter is rolling, it takes so much pressure off the rest of his game. I just think he has the right blueprint. I have no idea what Justin Rose is going to bring to this course or how he's going to look. But I just look at it, what he's been doing right before the US Open. Everything was outstanding. He was just burning the edges on these top 10 finishes. They're talking 45-50-1 for Rose. I think you have to give him strong consideration.
Yeah, that was my pick. But so I'm going to pivot here a little bit, and dude, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say Brian Harman.
That's a great one.
125-1. I mean, he's worth, throw $50 on Brian. God. Okay, I'm going to do this just for shits and grins. Hang on. I'm going to look up, bear with me a second here, but I'm going to, of course, this is my thing, but I'm going to look up here, Scottish Open. You know what I'm doing, so hang on. Hang on. Let me find Brian Harman. He is 100-1. Okay. A $10 Brian Harman, Brooks Koepka to win the British Open, the Open Championship parlay pays.
I can't even imagine. What do you got to be in the
$15,000?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be over 10K. That's
a $10 parlay pays 15,000. Oh wait, you can get a Scottish Open odds surge. No, it doesn't work on that. But yeah. So $10 pays 15,000. Brian Harman, Brooks Koepka. I'm gonna be betting that. Yeah, now honestly, I'm gonna throw. When was the thing is, like, Brian Harman actually has some PGA Tour wins. I don't think a lot of people realize it. He actually has won. He's had a little better career than I actually gave him credit for.
Honestly, Brian Harman for me gets lost at times of just like. I never know how good he is, but yeah, and you look and it's been here and there, but he has so many legitimate finishes. Not just that, he battled at Aaron Hills. He can play. It's a good one. I'm gonna.
When was his last win? Is the question? How many years ago?
Oh, it's got to be 4 or 5 years, I think.
6.
It was Wells Fargo, right?
It was Wells, and who did he beat?
So wasn't there was a year where Roberto Castro was in the playoffs.
It was not Roberto Castro. Way far superior to Roberto Castro. I'll give you a hint. He beat 2 of the 4 aces. How about that?
The live guys?
He beat DJ and Pat Perez.
I forgot Pat Perez existed.
How is that for a trivia question?
That is
Brian Harman beat 2 of the 4 aces. Name the 2 4 aces he beat to win the 2017 Wells Fargo.
Time to be alive. My God.
Well, dude, listen, it's been a ton of fun, Ben. I always appreciate you coming on. What's your are you betting tomorrow? Are you betting ponies tomorrow? What's the first day you're betting the ponies?
Yeah, I'm taking a little vacation, going to Saratoga. So Thursday, get my action. Track will be open.
Are you going to be tweeting at any of your horse plays?
I'm going to have to. I think I might have to. I know people will probably be yelling at me, but if I can tweet out Alex Noren slander every week and get away with it, there's no reason I can't tweet out some horses. So yeah, we'll be having fun with it, and hopefully we'll be cashing some Scottish Open tickets. This has been fun.
You're still free rolling on your Griot money.
Yeah, thank God I needed that. That was needed.
Buddy, listen, have a good vacation.
Thanks, man.
We'll talk when you get back, and we'll talk some Open here later on.
Absolutely.
Ben, take care, brother.
You too. You as well.
See you, buddy. Thanks for listening. Again, you can find me at Cutmaker Jeff. Make sure you follow the podcast on Twitter at Cutmaker Pod. It's going to be a fun week this week and the Open Championships next week, so make sure you tune in then. We'll talk to you guys next week.